what's up, everyone? Thanks again for tuning in tonight. Welcome to Tales from the Casino Pit. This is a podcast where we talk about different stories within the casino industry. Now, here are your hosts, Jay, Jon, Mike, and Danielle.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Casino Podcast, Tales from the Casino Pit. My name is Jay. You can find me on social media at Casino Dealer Jay. Here is your one host today for now. Hopefully another host is coming soon. Just a weird day today. But you've got me to start off the show. So welcome everybody on the three platforms. Welcome everyone from the Facebook group. Hello. Welcome from the Casino Industry Canada group. Hello, everybody that's joining from there. And of course, welcome everyone from the Casino Dealer J YouTube channel. So thank you very much for your support and subscribing. Totally appreciate it. So as we wait for maybe one or two of the cast members to join, I have a few announcements. I just wanted to run through a couple things since I've got a minute here. First off, I just want to give a shout out to my dog, Mr. Kobe Beef Bryant Dribbles Walter Jorge Rodil. He passed away over the weekend. It was kind of sad. Love the dog. He was our little Mexican rescue dog. So it was kind of sad. It was really rough weekend for us. He was a really cool dog. A little weird, but he led a good life, and he was a rescue dog. We got him from Mexico. We were just going to adopt him. He was supposed to look like this really nice, pretty white poodle, but when we first saw him, he didn't look like that. He was missing teeth. I think he was eating rocks. He was really heavy for a little dog. It was just a dense dog. And I picked him up, and he was half blind, and whenever I was trying to pet him, you can see like he looks really cool there. His tongue is sticking out because he's missing teeth. But when I was trying to pet him, he'd always cringe, and I think he didn't really grow fond of males. Even me, and I would be petting him for like 2 hours, and then I'd leave, and then I'd come back, and then he would just freak out because he didn't even know who I was. He completely forgot that I was petting him for 2 hours. But anyways, that's my doggy. I still have the other one, but totally missed that guy. So yeah, thanks, Mike. Mr. Kobe Jorge. So rest in peace, my lovely dog. Okay, so last week was really cool because we got to go to Pure Casino Yellowhead, which is here in Edmonton. So thank you once again to Peter and everyone there. The staff were really friendly. It was really cool to have Jon, myself, and Michelle out there and to kind of do part of the show live and then have Mike and Danielle join. It was a nice segue. It was a nice bridge for now. Hopefully we can kind of get something like that going in the future where all 5 of the cast members are together. But it was a nice test run. I was really worried about the connection. Usually when you're trying to do something through a live stream and you're trying to use, it was public Wi-Fi, it's not very good. So I was really impressed with the connection there and their network. We managed to run a pretty smooth episode last week. So when that gets posted on Spotify and iTunes, hopefully you guys are hopefully you'll see the quality. Hopefully there's no lag in the discussion. I've listened to it a couple times, but I haven't really gone through like the audio part so much. It was just more about like the visual because we were in the Pearl showroom. It's a beautiful room. A lot of stuff going on there. Can't wait for them to have a lot of the entertainment come back on the weekends. They have a really, really good setup there with the LED board in the back. It's nice and clean and updated, a lot better than what they had before. So yeah, go check it out once they start bringing in more bands and feature acts and everything like that. I think you would be thoroughly impressed with the actual venue. And the people that were working there were really nice too, the bar staff. So thank you, Ray. I totally appreciate that. You were awesome. You really helped us out, and you were covering. And yeah, I mean, would have been cool to have a bite. We didn't have a bite to eat or anything. We just had a couple drinks. So it was still pretty awesome to just go back there, given the fact that that was my last casino. So I can't wait to see what happens after COVID and once the restrictions start kind of progressing, where you don't have to, where the whole pandemic just passes, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but closer to whatever normal is going to be in the future. I think the casinos are looking really well there, and I'll talk a little bit more about that if I have some time here. Guys, if you are online, just say hi in the comments. Ask me anything, I guess. Hopefully my compadres will start joining in soon, but if not, yeah, this might be a short episode. But anyways, we are streaming on iTunes and Spotify. So for everybody that's listening on there, thank you so much for downloading the episode. Thanks for the support. This is the 18th episode. So I was wrong about last week, because I said that was the 18th episode, but I completely do not know how to count. So this is the 18th episode. I wanted to do a nice throwback to talking craps. However, there's no one here to talk craps with, so I may have to push this episode forward, which is hilarious. And then still kind of talk a little bit more about the channel and whatnot. So yes, Yellowhead, once again, Peter, thank you so much for letting us use the venue. That was really cool. I can't wait to try something in the future. If you let us have the whole cast there, I think that would be pretty awesome. And go check out the casino. It's really awesome. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was before we went live a couple episodes ago, we actually had Adrian on. So if you haven't watched that episode, make sure you jump on and check it out. Adrian was someone that was, she was in part of the Poker Stars Pro team. She was amazing. She was in the papers. I saw her in the news. Very, very talented individual. She did work a brief time in the casino industry, and then she ended up going to, she worked in AHS, because that's where I kind of saw her as well when I was there. So it was really cool to see her in Edmonton at the time. But then, like, when she was playing poker, it was awesome to kind of hear her when she ended up going to the World Series. That was really, really cool. Going to the World Series the first time when she got her ticket, I was really excited, because that was like the first person that I knew that actually went to the World Series. Dennis was the one after, and that was like the only two people that ever come to my house to play poker that have gone to the World Series and played the main event. So really awesome. She learned, she was mentored by Michelle, and a lot of what Michelle was like teaching her. I mean, like I got a lot of advice from Michelle and Alex as well, like on my own poker game when I was playing a lot, too much at the time. But it was really awesome to kind of see that whole group of people, and it was awesome to kind of be able to play. And I was a limit player. I was playing a lot of 3-6 at the time. I was just trying to pay bills. This was after 2007, and I was trying to keep a house with one dog, and poker was the only way I was barely making any kind of side money. So I really wanted to, I really appreciate Alex and Michelle and Adrian and all the people that I was dealing 3-6-2 at Palace at the time. They were really, really good players, and it was a different era back then, prior to the poker tournaments coming out. When the poker tournaments started coming out, and then it kind of took control of the limit cash game. It was not a big thing, but then it started to overtake the cash games. A lot of people were just playing the tournaments, and they didn't really stay for the cash games. So there was a little bit of an evolution during that time. 1-2 No Limits started to take over, and at that point, it was a different type of animal, a different type of game. So it wasn't as easy to, try to make money. So the thing with that was, there's a lot of online play as well, but that whole evolution kind of changed the game, and people weren't, they're not dumb, right? And people got a lot smarter over the years, and it's just from that point it got harder and harder to kind of make money. So I give kudos to the people that are playing right now, because I feel like if you're playing poker at this time, it's probably the hardest time to try to make a living and make money. So the people that are making money are really talented, in my opinion. So okay, quick comment here. Hello, Ghost SW627. Won't touch a casino if they don't have a live craps table or roulette wheel. Say no to bubble craps. Yeah, I think we talked about that the last couple episodes, and we were talking about, and I'll bring this picture up because I always ask a lot of the people what their opinions are about it. But what will electronic craps do for the future of traditional games? I see this game and it doesn't feel like craps. It doesn't feel like an authentic type of game. For me, this is a hybrid. It's a lot different than bubble craps. Bubble craps to me is more of a slot machine where I can sit down, especially the new ones that I've seen here in the city. They have the interblock gaming, and the first time I saw interblock gaming was at the stadium seating area at Starlight. So I kind of went in and we sat down, had a drink, we checked it out, and it was okay. Remember, this is like 2018, 2019. So they had the stadium seating out there. They had a DJ, sort of a DJ. Yeah, I mean, you'll say it's a DJ because he had a controller and a laptop. So that is a DJ. And then there was a group of 3 dudes just dealing. And one was, if I can recall, one was dealing blackjack. No, one was dealing baccarat. One was spinning on roulette. And I guess someone was dealing blackjack, baccarat, roulette. And then they had this dome. And this dome had 2 white dice and a black die, and you could bet on craps or you can bet on sickbo. So it was cool in that sense that your terminal had all of these different options of games to play. So you could play everything at once if you wanted to. And I was fine with that. But, like the shine kind of wears off when you have something like that. I mean, the music, and I'm speaking in the point of view as a dealer. Yeah, it kind of, I don't want to say it gets old, but it kind of does, right? And in the point of view as a DJ now, it's like, yeah, I probably would be playing like the same playlist every weekend. And I don't know how exciting it can get, but yeah, I'm cool with just sitting there and having a drink and listening to music and playing the games. So, I mean, to me, the benefit that you get from it is that it's cheaper, and you don't have to feel intimidated when you're on a live table. However, the people that I'm talking to here on this channel are a lot of, like the cast and everybody watching. I know a lot of you are really, really experienced dealers, or you've been in the industry, or you are, going to like the different casinos and playing. So I totally understand, the game of craps. And when we started this podcast, it was about craps. We were talking craps. What was cool about craps, how craps was evolving. And it worries me right now because you see a game like that and all you need is one person to staff it. And you have one person with the stick pushing the dice out. The room for error is minimized. There's a pace to the game that is preset by the computer. Players still roll the dice. It's not quite the same going on felt or anything like that. It's cleaner because there's no chips. So, I mean, there's pros and cons, but for me, I love the traditional game, and I'm accustomed to having a dealer pass me chips. I'm accustomed to listening to the stick person talk, listening to the stick person say, hey, these are stick calls, blah, 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 riling up the game. I don't know if you can really do that with that type of game. You have a stick person, and yeah. Do I want to deal it? Ugh. I don't know if I'd want to deal something like that. I'd probably just want to deal Let It Ride or 3-card poker before just being on stick. So yeah. Get a message from John saying, yeah, I'll join soon. Okay, well, that's cool. Thanks, John. What will it do? It'll keep money in my pocket. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that for me, I think the only benefit is that you probably have lower limits than going on an actual table, and especially like if you go to the States where it's like it's not a $5 table anymore, it's like 15 and it's 25 and it's crazy. And from what everyone's telling me, it's you're getting priced out of these games, so how are you really supposed to kind of manage your money? How are you supposed to have fun? I did want to talk about I did do an on break with segment with a dealer. Her name's Becky, and she's actually in quarantine right now, and she's working on the cruise ships, and she's in the UK. And from what she was telling me, the game in the UK has actually not the game of craps has pretty much died, and there isn't a lot of action anymore. And I've seen that happen. And I think a lot of it has to do with just, I feel like you should have lower limit games, because people aren't just going to go there. Even if you have like a $2 table or a $3 table, they're not just going to go there and bet $2 at a time on the pass line. Maybe they will. I mean, those are really like hardcore degens, but I think that, that's just a way to kind of bring them in. It's your base. I would like someone to bet whatever, and I would like to have, I'd take any bet. I would like to have 8 people on that side, even if you're managing it with just 3 people. You'd want to stuff that table up as much as possible and have that action. I think it's better than just having one guy betting $15, right? So yeah, for me as a player, I'm definitely priced out of that game. So all right, John says eventually craps and other tables are going to become more expensive, and lower limit players will have to play electronic versions of the games. I mean, that's the other thing too. You're not intimidated when you go on to electronic craps or electronic roulette or electronic blackjack. You can play however way you want to. People aren't going to judge you or say anything because you're at your own terminal betting whatever. So I feel like for people that do want to play on the table, you need to have a really big bankroll, and not a lot of people do, right? And if this is something that you like to do, it's recreation and you want to play. I mean, to bring like $300 at a time to just play craps and, get your ass kicked in like 5 minutes, I don't think that's fun. I would rather golf, and I would rather do something else with that money. And I think it's gotten to that point where, you've raised the limits enough that now people are like, do I really want to play? If you kept it at $5, people can play, and they can play $5. They can play $25. So yeah. One more comment here. To me, it's always been about throwing those dice myself. And yes, I believe in DI. I think we've talked about DI as in the past as well, and I'm not making a decision on DI. I just know that if someone can do it, they're not going to tell me that they can do it, and that's in the form of in point of view as a manager, I guess. So I can't do it, but I still set my dice, and I think that's that's how I play. And I think a lot of people need to kind of, it doesn't matter. You know what? If you're setting your dice, let them set the dice. I like how, I respect how people play, and I respect what they do. So I'm totally, I'm not gonna say one thing or another about DI. So, but I love throwing dice as well. So I'm no pro. I'll tell you that. I did want to ask the cast. However, because of this episode, we're not really going to get too many comments from the caster, because I think Mike might be on and Jon might be on in a little bit here. But I did want to ask how they played back in the day. So, right. Thanks for the questions. That was really cool. If you have any other dice questions, I think, yeah, absolutely. Just throw them on. But thanks for being on the channel. Totally appreciate that. So, okay. So a couple more updates. With the podcast, this is the 18th episode. We've had 3 specials, so that's 21. The first season of Talking Craps, which is really the first season. This is our second season, but really the first. Yeah. The second season, we did 26 episodes. The first season. Now the second season, we're going to do 26. So we only have a handful of episodes left. In the finale, I do want to give some stuff away. So I do have some gift cards and other things. I'm not sure what we're going to do to give these things away. I have some other stuff that I want to give away for the finale. So whatever our 26th episode is going to fall on, I'll give everybody a lot of time, advance notice, because I want everyone to have the chance to win it. The Casino Industry Canada group, I want you guys to have a chance to win it. I want to give some stuff away as our form of appreciation. Thank you guys so much for the support. And the fact that we're on iTunes and Spotify this season is really, really awesome. I didn't put the first season on because we had so many episodes where we had some sound quality issues. And the other thing was there's just a lot of cutting out in the video. So, what we're going to do with the next season, hopefully we can kind of upgrade it again. And I do want to revisit some of the topics that we had in the first season, because now you guys that are listening to it right now in the second season, there's a lot of things that we did talk about in the past that we haven't even put on Spotify and iTunes. So we may have some guests return, which is really cool. I'm kind of excited about that. And so if we are doing our third season, you may see a little bit of, we might see a few changes come up with that. I'm not sure if we're still going to be doing it on Wednesdays, but hopefully. And I think we may have, we were talking about, just bringing it down to like an hour segment. This is it is a long episode. I'm at 22 minutes just talking by myself here, which is kind of weird. But normally, when there's at least 2 of us, this kind of stretches out to, it stretches out to the first season was stretching out to 2 hours of discussion. And we were talking about craps, and we were talking about casino stories and just really funny stories and really just a lot of dumb stuff. But it was fun. And then when we had guests come on, which was really cool, I think that was a really good change. And it was nice to hear some of the other stories, because we get pretty boring pretty quickly. So to hear other people's stories and people from around the world, I think that was super exciting. I've met a lot of new people. We had Danny on last season, and now she's part of the cast. We had Michelle and Alex on, so now Michelle is part of the cast. It's really cool to kind of have this, and it's nice for you guys that have been supporting, and then you kind of have you see the progression, and you see the people that we meet, and then you could see them kind of get integrated into the group. So it's a lot of cool talk, and we haven't really talked about a lot of topics. So we'll get back to the topics in the next season for sure. And then our guests, we'll probably just have them on for 20 minutes. We don't want to kind of put them on the spot for a constant period of time. It's kind of weird, and it's probably uncomfortable for a lot of them. So if we kind of do them in segments, I think it's, it'll kind of balance out the segment itself. So, all right. So like I said, I wanted to thank a lot of the people. We had Quan, Loretta, Chris, Nicola, Heather, Michelle and Alex, Shauna, Daryl, Danny, Wyatt, Nicole, Pippa, CB and Colin. I mean, that's just some of them. We tried to get Lars on, but his connection wasn't very good. So once his connection is good, we'll get him back on. We had him kind of in the off season, but I mean, that's just a swath load of people that we kind of had at the start for the first season. So thank you everybody that kind of joined on. And then now we had a whole bunch of new people, and then I'll thank you in the finale, everybody that's been a part of this season. So it's really cool to have everybody on. And everybody kind of share their stories. And I think that's the biggest thing about it. But I mean, there's a lot of talented people on this channel that we bring in, and they've got all this experience. And it's really cool if you had any kind of gaming questions like craps, poker, roulette, pai gow, all of these different games that they've kind of gone through, and all of their stories. There's a whole wealth of knowledge behind the scenes. So yeah, I mean, keep those questions coming. Not just me, but like there's a whole group of people that are really, really, really smart, a lot smarter than me, and they have all these really cool ideas. And yeah, I mean, their experience has just been crazy, and people that have been in the industry for like 30-40 years, which is insane. I can't imagine being in the industry that long. I mean, I'm at 23 years, and I know I'll be back in August. And yeah, I mean, people are like double that, so it's crazy. Okay, so yeah, the channel updates, the podcast. So the finale is coming up. The uploads, yeah, I mean, because my doggy passed away, we didn't put an upload on this week. So I'll try to put 2 episodes on for you guys that are on the live stream for Spotify and iTunes. I will do a double episode. So we'll try to do that Saturday, Sunday. In the meantime, this Saturday, I do have some content for the YouTube channel. I will be doing Pagoda Tiles practice hands, and I'll do a practice run of dealing. So it's just a lot of demo work, and hopefully you enjoy it. Please give me your feedback after Saturday. Let me know if it's a good video, or if whatever whatever constructive criticism, I'll take it. It's the first time that I've kind of done a demo video for Pagoda Tiles. I really wanted to do that because the live stream itself is something that we are planning on keeping. And we do a fun live stream, and it's just with our little group here. And we have a virtual belt that we pass around, and we have a champion, and it was just a fun way of teaching Pagoda Tiles. Excuse me. Holy cow, I've been talking for so long. So it's just a fun way to kind of talk about, Pagoda Tiles. At the time, during the pandemic, there was no tiles here in the city. After the first reopen, nobody had it. Now we have, I think, 1 or 2 tables that have Pagoda Tiles. I think it's really cool to kind of have that in the city. I can't wait to play. I didn't play last week. I know, Will, you told me to go in and play a hand, but it was late. I needed to go home. I have to work, so I wasn't able to do that. But anyways, we're going to continue with the Pagoda Tiles live stream. I know that Rob is our universal Pagoda Tiles champion of the universe right now. So once we kind of get him, he's a dad now, so he's got a brand new baby. So he's a little busy. Once he has some free time, then we'll start to integrate him back into the content and the videos. He is your defending champion, undefeated, first time in history. So I think it'll be exciting to do that. We are doing a craps live stream, so that is going to be crazy. I have a really cool way of us doing it, and I've been testing it. So for all the craps fans out there, I think I think it's going to be kind of fun. It's going to be a one-on-one battle. I think that's all we can kind of really handle. So I'm just trying to finish up on the rules and whatnot. So once I get that, I will give you more information. So in the meantime, I am really, really, really excited to have my co-host. Come on now. Please welcome Jon, aka June Boland. Holland.
Hey Jay, how's it going?
Oh, good. Yeah, no, throat's sore now, and I've just been talking for quite a while. Yeah. How are you?
Yes, good. I mean, it was just crazy. So, had to take my son to a soccer game, and then that went on for a while. And sitting there, it was awesome. And then I have to come home and do stuff here, and then quickly. For some reason, you're supposed to feed children. Oh my God! I should have read the small print before I had them, to be honest. So yeah, so then I had to get home, feed them. And I was like, okay, I got to jump on this call. And we had to put a garbage out too, so I do that and like jump on here. So
Hey,
sorry, I'm a bit late.
Hey, no worries.
Like I said,
Yep.
Better late than never.
That's true. Mike. I'm just kidding. I think Mike had a tough day. I'll say that.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, speculate, everybody. Speculate. Give us a reason why Mike isn't online.
Actually, Mike is in Fight Club, so sometimes when you don't see him, he doesn't talk about. The first rule of Fight Club is not to talk about Fight Club. So Mike had a particularly bad Fight Club day.
Oh man. I just want to comment here. Sorry to hear about Doga. Yeah. Thanks. I totally appreciate it. I mean, well, yeah, my dog. So I know you jumped on late, but here, in memory of Mr. Kobe, and that's his full name, Kobe Beef Bryant Dribbles Walter Jorge Rodil. So,
did he pass away?
Yeah, it was sad. It was over the weekend actually. So, kind of killed me because he was in his bed and I didn't know, and yeah, so it was just a shock. But I mean,
that's really shitty. Sorry to hear that, Jay.
Yeah, it's okay. I still have the other one. But yeah, no, he lived a good life. I mean, it was 17, I think. I think that's what we.
Oh wow!
So for a dog that we rescued in Mexico, I think the life that he had here was much better than being on the streets there. And
so did you kind of just like bring him on as like carry on or something? I just stuck him in your bag. Like, don't bark.
I think. Well, I said this at the start. We had the picture of the dog, and it's like this nice white poodle, fluffy dog, right? And he looked like cute, smiley and stuff. So then Lindsay went to the airport to pick him up, and this dog was not white. He was like brown. So it's like she got us like, what? It's like the Wish version of the SPCA dog. It's like so he was missing teeth. He was half blind. Yeah,
you were catfished then. They showed you this picture of this wonderful puppy, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's adorable!" And then you get the one, okay, bring him out of the box, and then he's like, Well, that's awesome that you rescued him, and he lived for 17 years. Holy shit!
Yeah, that was crazy. He had, he had the missing teeth and everything, but he was still such a good dog, like well behaved. He wasn't crazy. He was crazy. I mean, you go on a walk. He doesn't lift his leg when he goes and he pees. He doesn't do like what normal dogs do. They go on a tree and they'll lift their leg. No, I'm walking, we're crossing the street and we're crossing traffic, and he stops right in the middle of traffic and he just goes. And you're trying to pull him because cars are waiting. I'm like, no, this guy's not going anywhere. He's like, this is what I do. I'm like, okay, you do that. Go.
We have the complete opposite. We have a Shih Tzu that's probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 now, and when he pees, like he literally looks like he's trying to like put his leg up as high as possible, like it's a kung fu move, and he's like, whoa! And you're like, dude, man, and he does it even if he's like, he's taking for walks and there's like nothing left, and now he just walks down the street and he's like nothing, and he's just like, whoa! Like, what is he doing? What is that about? And there's nothing there. Nothing's coming out. It just has this weird 3-legged pose thing every like 5 minutes. It's strange as heck.
It's like dog yoga. It's like, yep,
exactly. But only the one leg. I mean, like, well, alternate it, man. Maybe the other leg deserves a bit of a stretch.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, guys. Yeah. Thanks for jumping on. I think a lot of people just were like, oh, it's just Jay, and then they just jumped off. So whatevs.
I'm sure they were like, oh no, it's Jay. He hasn't got the other reprobates on. We'll have some civil conversations this time.
Yeah, this was supposed to be our throwback episode, but now like it's just us. And yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about craps, but there isn't a lot to talk about because we talked about it already. So I was hoping that like someone like Michelle or Danny would kind of answer some of the craps questions. But yeah,
in all honesty, my personal perception, feeling about table games is, excuse me, they're going to become fewer and fewer like table games, and they will become more and more expensive. And what will happen is they're going to bring out these. Okay, this is craps, but it's a slot machine, and you don't need anybody to train it. It'll maybe some person will be like, yeah, you could play dollar craps, but it's not really craps. It's just some electronic version of it. But if you want to play it, it's now a $15 table, $25 table, that kind of stuff. And I think, to be honest, maybe it should be. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe these table games, maybe there's too many of them. I don't know. Maybe it's a kind of a divisive topic, but it's like, remember when they complained about the NHL and they said, "Oh, you have all these you only have all these teams, it dilutes the talent pool." Well, maybe when we have fewer tables, the dealers will become more skilled because they have to be, and they'll be higher paid, and it'll be, I don't know. Some people, the standards will go up. I don't know. I just think that at some point, for purely economic reasons, table minimums are going to rise up. If you're going to have, four dealers and 2 boxmen on a table, it's going to be more expensive, right? For it to survive in its form, not right now, right? Yeah. So if it does become that, I mean, I think 2 things will happen. Either one, it will just die in certain casinos. People will be like, you know what? Maybe there'll only be one craps table in the city, right? Maybe it'll be like, you know what? Enoch has the only casinos with, at the tables with craps, right?
Yeah. I think you're right. When we, I wanted to show you a preview of my On Break segment because Becky, who's on the ships right now, and she's just kind of finishing up her quarantine, she was talking about the UK, and she's saying that there was no game whatsoever. Like, craps has basically died. A lot of the tables have been pulled from their casinos there in the UK. So it's kind of sad to hear that because there's no way to kind of generate that revenue and justify craps. I remember being in Grand Prairie, and the first time they brought craps into the city, I was like, wow, this is amazing. However, the cut is killing us. And the operator was saying, why wouldn't I just have 4 dealers in a rotation, 3 blackjack tables? Because I have a minor casino. I have 15 tables. Why am I sacrificing my staff for this 1 table when I can generate much more revenue with 3 more blackjack tables? It was a hard sell, and it made a lot of sense because in our model right now with a 75-25 cut, it's still not good enough to pay for the revenue and expect a profit, especially at a $5 limit. That's one thing about it.
One of the casino I trained in, actually in Cardiff, Wales, they had craps for a very long time. Then they got rid of it, and then they brought it back again. And as far as I know, I think it's the only craps table outside of London. So the game itself is dying in the UK. I mean, like, it's a lost art, right? And so if anyone has the opportunity to learn it, it will be, as a dealer anyway, it'll be in your best benefit because you're going to get fewer and fewer options to be able to deal it, as more and more casinos will be like, it doesn't economically make sense. And on the plus side is once you can deal it, there'll be more and more job opportunities to go places where they do need dealers, right?
Yeah.
So I think any of these high skill games, if you ever have the opportunity to learn them and deal to a certain standard, you should go for it. Like, forget them, the short term, it's only like a 25-cent pay rise an hour or a 10-cent. That doesn't mean anything. Who cares? Mm-hmm. What it is it's kind of like, we talk about education. It's investing in your education and your dealing ability. So that's what you're investing in. And it's not costing you, right? Whereas a lot of places like we talked to Heather, a lot of places in Vegas, they charge you for this thing, right? Whereas if you have the opportunity to go, I mean, now if I was younger, like a lot younger, I'd be like, man, sign me up for all these games. I'd be going like Pie. I learned Pie anyway, but I mean, like, Poke, I would be getting all these games. I'm like, man, I want to see all these games because it opens up the doors for you wherever, right?
Yeah. What was your opinion of stadium gaming? Because I just brought that up earlier. In Starlight, they had the stadium gaming and they had craps integrated with it. Do you feel the same way about that as a hybrid game, or is that what's going to take over? Is that something that is here to stay? Not necessarily the specific version that we're talking about, but do you feel like that's kind of going to take over?
To be honest, once I walked in and I saw it, the first thing I thought was like, this reminds me of bingo. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got your bingo caller up there, and he's doing his spiel. And like when I was a kid and my mum used to take me to bingo, the bingo callers have calls, and they for different numbers, and trying to get the crowd into it. And it's very much, I mean, like, they don't sell anything. It's just, but I mean, like, trying to like drum up excitement and stuff like that. So I was like, man, it's like bingo when I grew up. But I think as long as it is entertaining, but the challenge is, though, it's not, you're not going to get the same atmosphere sitting in your own little, like, terminal playing craps when some guys up there, whatever, doing this, boop, boop, with like with a little ball, and it's 7 out. Oh, and you're like, whoa, we're like, okay. It's not the same atmosphere because, that's the thing I think about, those, and that's why I think, it will evolve into like, yeah, this is an expensive hobby. If you want to, you can go and play this. It isn't the same experience as, like when like electronic roulette, where remember the ball used to come out and it'd spin around and then would drop. It's like, okay, yeah, it's roulette, but it's not real roulette. I mean, there's no dealer. I mean, yeah, you can run it 24 hours a day, but it's more of a slot machine than it is a table game, right? You don't have the tactile chips and the dealer and the other. And that was the thing about roulette too. It's like the other players, you're like, oh my god, he's banging it on 32. Maybe he knows something. I know. I'll put my best on 32. It was all nonsense. But it becomes like, that guy's a genius. I should be following him everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's like a communal experience. So it's not the same when you're like, it's like, to me, it was more like I could do the same thing at home. Like, why would I want to drive? But I think that's more of, to be honest, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm sure people, if they watch or listen, will be like, John's an idiot. But I think it's evolving into, that is more like online gambling in a casino. Do you know what I mean? I think.
Yeah. I don't think that, I have to stop stuttering when I'm talking here because
it's okay. We just edit it out.
I know, but every time I stutter, it's more work for me to do. So I need to control here. What was I talking about? Now I have to edit that out. Great. When we talk about the games itself, I think that the pandemic didn't help because of the fact that now you have a way, and I'm using craps as the example, this hybrid version of craps where you don't need to bring in any chips whatsoever. And despite, you and I who like the tactile feel of chips and using them and playing them in poker and craps and on the table games, there's a lot of people that don't. And I think that it's gotten to that point where now, not only have you resolved this issue with dirty chips, but you have also resolved the issue of having a difficult game, I could have no craps, except like one person, and be able to teach someone on stick. All you have to do is pass out the dice and say the number. Here's how the rules of the game are. But now you don't even have to know any presses. You don't have to know how to pay the line. You don't have to know like any of this crap. I've eliminated it. I've eliminated the dice hitting the chips. I've eliminated the dice hitting anybody's hands. I feel like that's been like the biggest advantage of this hybrid craps. And yet people still get to roll the dice. And not the same, but is it better?
I think, from my perspective anyway, I think what it has become, though, it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of plus sides for the casino, right? Training time. Well, really, it's like, okay, I'm going to tell you about this game in like 9 minutes, and you're going to be on it in 10. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, they're going to roll a number, and you're going to hit in 7 or 8, and it'll come up, and the best will calculate, and whatever. The problem, and they'll be like, okay, well, we only need one dealer. Okay, well, we need one dealer. Well, that one dealer has now got to create the atmosphere and the excitement that 3 other dealers used to deal, right, on the table, and boxmen. And it's very difficult to kind of generate excitement on your own on a table, right, consistently. I mean, after a while, you'd be like, yeah, okay, you can do it. But I don't know. I think it's. But then, do you? And here's the thing: like, would you be like? Are people be like? Would they ever come up and say like, "Oh, I'm a crap stealer"? Oh, you okay? Well, I deal it. Oh no, I just put it into a button, and then I hit enter, and then I hit 7, and then enter, and then it went boo. All the lights come on, and I mean, like, really, you're that. It's, like I said, it's. I think more then becomes. It's more in the slot department because you don't even need to cut chips.
Mhm.
You need no chip dexterity at all, right? So I feel then it's no longer a casino, a table game. It's a slot game. Do you know what I mean? Because like if that's and I can see the attraction for casinos, right? Because like, oh, you don't have to train anybody. You just say, okay, literally, it's the equivalent of riding the train around West Edmonton, like the West Edmonton Mall. I'm not really a train driver. I just sit in and I push a button, but I can tell everybody I'm a train driver. Right? Do you know what I mean? So it's like that. Yeah. What do you do? Oh, I drive a train. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, no. It's around a fantasy playground, and I just push a button, stop, and then it just drives me around, and then I stop, and then kids get on, kids get off. So you're not really a train driver, but you just push a button, right? I think that's the equivalent. Yeah.
You reminded me of like the submarines. Like, I've been on a submarine. Like, yeah, I guess so. Technically, you've been on a submarine, but
exactly. It was like the guy's like, I'm the captain. I'm like, not really. Not really. You stand there with a hat on and 4 stripes, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm a captain of a submarine. But like, dude, man, it just sinks, and then it just drives around the pool and goes back up, and it goes back up again. Not really a captain of a submarine. I'm pretty sure the Russians aren't threatened by you. That's for sure.
So, John, what you're telling me is that the hybrid craps stick person dealer is like the optometrist of doctors. Is that a good analogy?
No, but it becomes, in all honesty, it becomes a carny game, right? I mean, we've all go to KDs and Stampede's popular now, and you go there and it's like, okay, and the guy's there and he's just shouting and blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do anything. It's just, it's just a carny game, right? It's not really a casino game anymore. A table game, I should say. Not a casino game, a table game. I feel, anyway, because there's no skill. Like, if you look at it, there's no skill involved to deal it. You really don't even know the rules. Like, people are like, okay, I don't know the rules. How'd you play this? Oh, I don't know. Just sit there and push that help button, and it'll come up and tell you the payouts. And then what do you do? Oh, yeah, that guy rolls the number, and I put it in, and then I give him the dice, and then he does it again. So
that's true. Okay. So if that's how you feel about hybrid dealers, just an excuse. Here's my felt from my funny money days. This was meant to go on the craps table that I had. This one here, we had this generic felt on this craps table, so it wasn't really. It was okay, right? It was, how they are, where you can barely fit two in the front, 2 in the back. I mean, that's maybe 4 players. So we ended up going and talking with Regency Gaming, amazing company, because they do all the custom felts, but we ended up doing like a single. So basically what this is I don't know if I can show it all, but it's like the mini craps version of it. So you can see like my point numbers are there, and then my center action is right under the 6 and the 8. This fits on one table. You have one dealer. What are your thoughts? Because they have this version on the ships where it's mini craps. I remember being in O'Shea's, and there's one dude that was on stick and base at the same time. So it was on one side. He'd be like, dice out, okay, 5. And the thing was, with that table, they had this thing that blocked off the center. This is in O'Shea's in Vegas, so they had this like barrier in the center, so you couldn't even pass center. It was like a half table, and one guy was dealing, and there was a box person sitting there too, which was funny. It was so weird, and yeah. But what's your opinion on kind of like these half tub games, mini craps, where you still have the dealer that has to do all the work? Is that different, or is that the same?
Well, I think there's a different set of problems then. It's like, once you go like, okay, look, we're going to have one person dealing all of it. Like, how are you going to watch everything? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm over here paying stuff, and then just the security risk. I can imagine having 2 people on it, because that would be kind of like, like a stick and box, whatever. I mean, like, I don't, obviously it depends on length of it. I mean, I just think there's some like security challenges if there's like, if there's just a one person. I mean, a few times I've dealt with an inside stick, you know what I mean? Like, you just have 2 basemen and someone on stick, and you do it all yourself. And then, when the dice are landing on your side, you're calling the numbers. When dice are on the other side, they're calling numbers, doing all blah, 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 booking, so, but I think it can be kind of fun, but I mean, it's just like challenging, I think, when it's just like one person, because there's so many things to do. And when it's one person, it would become so slow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, it could be, if you brought it down to like, okay, you can have 3 players and you're playing, all right, there's, 3 players and whatever. I don't know, but I think then it becomes, easier, I think, if the fewer players, if there was like, I don't, like you said, how many did you have on that one cloth? Was it?
Oh, for the one on the table, it was like 4 people, 4 spots. But for this, okay. I made the squares like actual. I can do 8.
So you could have 8 players. So realistically, I think
it's the same.
Yeah. So like it's like one-sided, right? So it'd be kind of cool. Like I think 2 people, right? Because 2 people. One of the things that the best things about craps is, when we used to deal it, you should feel you feed off the energy and the it's like of the dealers, right? I mean, like. I see something funny, you see something funny, and we'd be like, it's like you see comedians on stage when there's 2 of them, and it's whatever, they feed off each other, and it becomes a fun experience, right? I think it becomes harder when it's just the one person, like physically, like to do everything and try to do. Sometimes you need a bit of a break, right? So
yeah, no, for sure. Okay, one quick comment here. The Ghost of SW627. I'd like to see a game developed where skill against opponents is the point of the game, similar to poker, but where dice influences the objective. No money in it for a casino, I guess. That's cool. I just don't know how you would do it. I guess it would be like, you can do it, right? And it would, I don't know if you'd do it by craps rules, but I'd go by like length of time, like number of rolls. And then the house would just take a commission. It's basically like a race or a contest on like who would last longer. And I think that would be the only way of doing it. But I don't know how.
Kind of like a horse race.
Yeah.
Like, all right. You'd have to do it like, okay, well, realistically, there'd be a commission on bets, right? If I suppose, I don't know. If you're like, okay, well, I'm not sure how you could do it, but it'd be a different kind of thing. It's like, okay, you have to roll these 6 points, and there's, we're gonna take. To be honest, though, wouldn't be interesting if at some point, like in Pagoda, you can become the banker. What about if craps the player could become the banker?
That's an amazing concept. That's just.
Do you know what I mean?
Does anyone afford it?
No, but obviously, but the thing is, but it's kind of like, all right, well, this is my maximum. I buy in for $1,000, whatever it is, and as soon as that's done, then you can bet up to that, whatever, and then as soon as it's done, 7 up, maybe the next. We used to play this game, right? We used to call it Shoots. I used to play it in casinos after this after-hours drinking place. And basically what it was a simple card game, and I've never seen it anywhere else. And basically what it was is you'd be dealt 3 cards, right? So you dealt 3 cards. I'll be the banker, right? And say it could, say there's like 6 people playing. You all dealt 3 cards, and I put in like say $50, $100 in the pot, and I say, okay, this is the bank. And then you look at your 3 cards, and basically what you need to do is you have to beat the next card I turn over in the suit. You're betting that my suit, card in that suit would beat it. So if you have like 3 aces, you go, okay, I'm going to bet the pot, whatever it is. If you lose, so you're going to have 3 aces, right? And I can turn over 2 of the suit you don't have. Well, then you lose. And then that money goes into the pot. And then you go around, right? And the pot gets bigger and bigger. And eventually it gets nervous then. And then it goes around. And then, the more you shoot it, whatever. You could have, realistically, you can have similar things, So a 7 out, okay, like Mike, John is the pot. You could simplify the game completely, like the guy is saying, right? So you simplify the game completely, take a lot of the complex bets and go, okay, well, this is the bets. I'm the bank, and the house will take a commission, whatever. Same as take a vig, whatever, and then the next person, it will go there, right? And then the pot size could be, who cares? I mean, it's the player putting the money in, and you bet whatever, but we're going to take a commission on it.
Yeah, I don't know. My family used to play Guts, and I don't know how that game is. I don't know if that's the same as what you're talking about, if it's the same as Shoot, but like you bring that up, and it's seriously like you can have anything like Mahjong, you can have Big Two, and you have them sitting there, and they play $5 a card or something, and then the house takes a vig from it. So I totally get that part. I think the only issue is like collusion, how to regulate it. But yeah, I mean, back to the comment here about having like a contest of skill, then for sure the only way the casino would set something up would be by having vig on it, where people just contend. But I guess the issue would be like if you had two people like rolling, one guy did like 60 rolls, you're gonna have another guy go up to like 60 rolls for $5 or something. I know it's like I don't know how you kind of gauge it and set benchmarks. So
have you I bought this game years ago, actually when I was 21, working in Israel on that dodgy illegal casino thing. Somebody had this game, it's called Pass the Pigs, and they're like these two little plastic pigs, and you have to grab them, and it's actually a really fun game. And you roll them and you get points, and it's the first one to 100. So that's a skill-based thing. You have to stop, and it's lucky, blah blah blah, and you get certain points for how they land. I mean, I would pay plenty to play Pass the Pigs in a casino. They can take the pig, I don't care, just to throw these big plastic like pigs down the table. I'm like, bro, one hand on the pig. But I mean, that, like I said, that's a skill-based game. You just have to accumulate points, and the first one to 100 wins, right?
Oh yeah. And it's how they land, right? If they land on the feet,
how they land.
More?
So
yeah.
So basically, how they can land, right? Is like if they land like one on their back, and they're like exactly these two pigs. So if one's on his back and one's on his front, right? So or on his side. So say for instance, one's on his side, one's on his feet, right? That's like 5 points. So if it's two standing up like that, well, this is like weird things. It's like you get like quadruple the points. So that's like 20 points. If they're on like one's on his back like that and one's on his side, it's 5 points. Two up, it's 20 points. But there's different combinations. You can lean on an ear, on the nose. But basically what it is, on the pigs, one side of them has a blank side and one side of them has a dot, right? So if they land with like one side with a like black dot and one side nothing, it's called pig out. And oh my God, my family play and we get mad. We're like, big out, come on, big out, big out. And we shout and scream. And yeah, and the thing is, there's zero money involved. We just want to win. And we throw, and the weird thing is, the game I have, we play with my kids, we go camping with it, whatever. I've had it forever. I bought it when I first came back from Israel when I was 21, which is 1989. And I still have the game, and we still play it today. But that would be fun as hell. I would love to play that in a casino.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, me too. I think that would totally.
I need to talk to Heather. I say, Heather, I want to bring Past the Pigs as a casino game. What's the house edge?
I need the mathematical analysis on this, please. Here's the probability of
where's the Wizard of Oz? We need
the pig landing here on the ear. What are the odds of that happening?
Exactly. Yeah, sure. We'd have side bets. Okay, and you have names too, like leaning jowler, double leaning jowler, snouter. Okay, I need the odds on a double leaning whatever.
I would love to build the felt for that, and then you have it all out, and it's just like pigs. It's just like drawings and images of pigs. Oh, that'd be so cool.
I think we need one. I think I need one.
Well, okay, we gotta talk to the vendor. We can do this. New game.
See, you thought it'd be totally serious, and it actually isn't.
This is Jade, the first person that ever commented on our live stream. So hello, Jade. I know you're at work.
Jade.
So it's nice to see you. She's at work.
That's a claim to fame.
I asked Jay to be on actually because she is. Well, I worked with her at Yellowhead, but she's a avid gamer and she's really smart and she's really good. She's a good dice dealer too. So, yeah, I think you're on break. So, hello, thanks for jumping on.
Hey, Jade, how's it going?
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, I think they should bring it into casinos. Gaming, like actual gaming. Do you know what I mean? Like electronic gaming, that kind of stuff. That I think is a lost opportunity for casinos.
Yeah, there you go.
I would be terrible, by the way, but I mean, like Pac-Man. Can you imagine? Okay, we'd have a Pac-Man tournament, and it, like literally, all right, like speed Pac-Man.
Oh yeah. There was something that I wanted to see in the casino. I can't remember what it was. I mean, I wanted to see hearts because I like hearts. I don't know why I like hearts, but I don't know. Not chess. It was some game of skill where it's like if it was in the casino, you could have, I don't know, maybe crib, something fun, and it's just not in the casino. But if they had crib, I'd love to play it. Yep.
Did you ever see Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? That movie?
I don't think so. No. Was it good?
It's a Guy Ritchie movie.
Oh, okay.
It's very, very good. But for Snatch, do you ever watch Snatch, the Guy Ritchie one with Brad Pitt?
Yes. Yes, I did see that.
Okay, so it came out before that. Essentially what it was, Guy Ritchie wrote this story, and he had a lot of ideas left over, and he made that movie Snatch, right? And Snatch became famous and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, there's a game in Snatch, and it's called Three Card Brag. And that's a really popular game at home where they gamble. But it's not a casino game, but it's like you would play in bars, you play amongst your friends and stuff like that. And I remember one time, the highest hand is like 3 threes, and then the next one is 3 aces. And I remember my friend, we were living in London, and we used to gamble all the time. It was all casino people living in this house. And I remember one time, my friend lost a month's rent to my other friend, and the only reason it stopped was because my friend had like trip aces, and he's like, Nick, man, you need to stop betting because I have trip aces and I know I beat you. And he had like trip queens. And one of the things as well, like it's crazy how you play it, right? First of all, you put your money, you bet, and people go blind, so they don't see the cards. And then if you open your cards and you're like, oh, okay, I want to carry on playing. Well, you need to bet double the person who's blind. So I go, £5, and to stay in you go, oh my, I have to bet 10, and you just whatever. And like this guy who kept playing blind, and eventually he was like, and when he opened it, he's like, Nick, you need to fold. It's just like, and then but he was so much in, he's like, no, and he's like, Nick, man, and he was like, I saw both their hands and I can't say nothing, and I was like, dude, man, you've already blown a month's rent on this one hand, and we're just having fun, right? It was just fun, us drinking and having a laugh on it. And we're like, shit, man, you just lost. And yeah, so it was crazy. We're like, and then that was the problem. So we're like, it created like kind of like a bad atmosphere. But he was like, Nick, man, I don't want any more of your money. Like, stop betting. Yeah, it was, yeah. But anyway, if you want to see like a cool film, that is a very good one.
Yeah. Okay, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I think it's now just come on Netflix. It's a really good movie.
Okay, then yeah,
set in London with gangsters and stuff like that.
I just finished Loki. What a good show! I don't know if you watched that yet. It's on Disney. Do you have Disney?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I watched that too. No, it was good.
Yeah, and there's a second season, so that's awesome. Right.
I'm also watching Monsters at Work.
Oh yeah. That's okay. I watched. I'm okay with that. I may have to watch that as well. I finished watching. I think it's called Big Shot. Is it Big Shot? I think it's the basketball one. With that
Ron and I watched that. Yeah, we blew for that one too.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd like it, and then I watched the whole thing. I'm like, wow. I just got on.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I told you one time, because I watch obscure things. Sometimes I watch things when I need a nap. So I'm like, oh, that looks like a nap show. So I'll just put it on Netflix and I watch it and I fall asleep. And do you remember when they used to recommend shows for you on Netflix? It's, oh, because you watch this, you should watch this. I had Paw Patrols come up one time. I was like, you should watch Paw Patrol. I was like, where did that come from? It was like, I think it was last year. I was like, man, year before, I was like, man, I'm 50 years old and he's recommending Paw Patrol.
It's probably because you watched an episode of Cops. Yeah, and then Paw Patrol. There's your connection right there.
Oh, there you go. They're like, oh, he obviously likes police dramas. Paw Patrol will suit him.
Jade says 88 inside working C&E for 12. 12? Holy smokes. What are you made out of money? $12 C&E? What does that get you? Gross. Nothing on the line.
Yeah, usually an empty pocket, to be honest.
I'd excel in that. I'm assuming she's saying hearts. I think it was hearts or brag, one of the two. Yeah. So, yeah. I heard a rumor, and this was kind of when we were working, that there was a casino that let you play solitaire. And if you completed solitaire, you would win money. And I don't know if that's true or not. I should have asked because I thought it was in Vegas. So, but can you imagine being like the dealer? you're like standing there, you're watching. It's like, oh, you missed the 9 there, buddy. Maybe you should.
Yeah, you should move it across there and then bring it back. It's like, do you ever play Idiot? We used to bet on Idiot too. It was, it's a game basically. I mean, when I used to live in London, like I said, we used to gamble on everything and anything. I once won, like, I can't remember what it was. It was a stupid amount of money on it. Like, me and my friend were just drunk and we're trying to remember an actress in a movie. And I ended up getting, and he was like, I said it was this lady, and he said it was this actress. And I was like, nah, I'll bet you. And he's like, okay, I'll bet you too. I was like, okay, how much you want to bet? And it was like $300, something like that. And you know the thing, this was like 30 years ago. And, $300 was pretty, but, it was a lot of, well, kind of a lot of money, I suppose. Anyway. So the next day, him and I walked to Blockbuster. We're like, we're going to find that movie because we have $300 on it. So we walked there. We find out, oh, I won. So then he gave me the money. I went and I bought a coat. So every time he saw that coat, he goes, freaking hate that coat. I hate it. Every time you wear it, I remember I lost $300 to you on a stupid actress in a stupid movie. So he hated it. But it's okay because a few weeks later, I ended up doing a similar bet and losing on a different actress, and he ended up like buying a coat or something there, or a T-shirt or something. It wasn't as much, but anyway, he would be like, "Hey John, you like this one?" I'm like, "Get out, get out."
That's funny. Oh man. Jade says gets you broke, and I think that was in reference to what
C&E.
C&E?
Oh, C&E, $12 C&E.
Where does that get you? Where does that gets you broke?
When I learned craps, right, in Cardiff a million years ago, there was this guy, he would come in and they used to call it, you could have like a $1 horn, right? It was crazy. And he would sit there, he wouldn't play anything else but a $1 horn. And he played the pass line when it got to him, otherwise he wouldn't play it. And he would play this dollar. And he would lose like, I don't know, $1,000 playing a dollar the horn. And he'd parlay it too. Sometimes, the high-low come in, he'd be like, okay, give me back like $25 or give me back $5, whatever. And he'd be like, man, it was like Pat and Jeff, him and his wife. They both used to play the same stupid system. And he'd be like, you guys are fucking idiots. And yeah, they would play like $1 horn, nothing else, all night. And then they would be like, I didn't win tonight. I'm like, you didn't win the last 50, 60 nights. What are you talking about? Tonight isn't an exception. Tonight is exactly what will happen in the next 50, 60 nights going forward, and the last 50, 60 nights too. Yeah. Oh yeah, idiot. If you ever want to bet, okay, nobody's watching, so idiot. This, like when I used to live in this house in London, it was so much fun. It was crazy. My friend showed me, and basically what it is you give him a pack of cards. So I give you, Jay, a pack of cards, and you pick 3 numbers, any 3 numbers you want to. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 Jack Queen, whatever it was. And you need to turn them over like, and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, whatever it is. And if you hit your number that you said, like, say, for instance, I said a 3. I said, what, 3, 4, 5. As I'm going through the cards, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I get to king, and I said again, whatever. If you hit your number, then you lose. And it's almost impossible to do it. Like, literally, it's crazy. If you go like Jack, like literally like Jack, Queen, King, Jack, Queen, King, Jack, Queen, King, and try and get through the whole pack, you can't do it. I never saw it. I lost so much money on it. My friend conned me the first time. He goes, you have 3 cards. I mean, obviously, I was drunk. He goes, you have 3 cards, and I have 10. What odds are you going to give me? I was like, oh, that sounds like a great bet. Is that like 3 to 1? I was obviously drunk and stupid. And he's like, okay, I will take 3 to 1. And I was like, I think I've got him. So it's like, okay, I'll bet $5. And he's like, okay, so you go, pick 3. And he's like, you can pick any 3. I'll have the rest. So it's like, okay, I'll have 1, 2, like 2, 3, 4. So I kept counting 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, I blew a lot of money to that guy last night. It was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
How's that?
Yep. So while John is talking there, the Ghost of SW627 says Lock, Stock was a great movie. Okay, I will watch it. Just to come back there, we actually I posted for the Casino Industry Canada group. I posted Owing Mahoney, and I don't know if you haven't watched that. It's a pretty good movie. I think it is. I got it was Jeff S from the group that recommended Owing Mahoney. I never watched it, and I finally did, and it was actually really cool. What was really cool is to see like the $50 bill back then. I completely forgot about those horses that read 50. Oh man. But anyways, yeah, that was right at the start of the movie. But then like going through the whole thing and just seeing his progression, I can relate to some of that for sure.
I actually bought that movie, and I think I've still got the DVD, but I never got around to watching it. I think my DVD broke, and then was like, all right. So, but I've still got it somewhere, Owing Mahoney. I think one of my favorite ones, because it was set in Britain and it was pretty realistic, like Croupier. I love that movie. Just because it was kind of like inside. You don't often see casino movies in British casinos. So I kind of like that one too. With Owen, what's his name? Owen Wilson? Owen Wilson? Not Owen Wilson. Clive Owen. Clive Owen.
Yeah, it's like Owen Wilson.
Yeah, Owen Wilson was in Loki. I'm like, they look totally different.
Wow, he can chip 60 in 12 seconds. Good.
Yeah, he looks like some suave, like, like croupier.
Jason. Hey, Jason. At least one watching. Hey, that's good. Thanks for the support.
Hey, Jason, how's again? Yeah, exactly. One watching.
I should really just make you guys moderators. Although we haven't really progressed in the casino channel yet, so just wait. I don't know if you heard, but yeah, I have a series of Pagoda videos that I'm going to be posting on Saturdays. So I think it's pretty cool. I think we talked about it last week. I showed you a couple of things, but I'm going to try to expand that series so I can do it every Saturday. And then hopefully I can pull another game in, or we can do our Pagoda Tiles videos. So exciting.
Yeah, what you showed me was like really amazing. To be honest, some of the stuff you see on YouTube, it's like some person like, I'm going to show you how to deal on my ironing board. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you are not. like this, and you're like, what are you doing? What is stop? And I'm like, to be honest, it's like a rabbit hole. But what you made was really like, you made some like really quality, amazing stuff, man. It's impressive.
I mean, I'm trying, and it's something that I wanted to do like 10 years ago when I was in the position, but we didn't really have the technology back then to do it, or we did, but it was just super expensive and I didn't have the money for it. Yeah, it's years later, and now like these programs are still kind of, they're there, and now they're in reach and they're affordable, and to do the video editing with a more powerful computer, now you can put overlays on and make it more visual. And I think that's kind of what I want them to see. And my biggest beef is like, it's not that they're, like the ironing board and that's cool in some sense. I only accept that video if the guy is like 70 years old, and I will appreciate it because this is someone that has the experience and they're passing it on to somebody. But if it's like some kid is like, yo, this is what you're supposed to do, and I'm totally like against that. My biggest pet peeve is like the point of view. If you're teaching, and I want someone to just say, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna copy your video, and I hope they do and make it way better. But I want someone to have the point of view over my shoulder, not across the table from me, because that's not how I draw cards. You're looking at the opposite version of it, right? You need to go kind of mirror it in the sense that you're going like, your left hand is following my left hand. You're not doing the opposite. Because if you're doing a mirror, then it's wrong, right? So anyways, that's my thing.
It's true. I mean, like, excuse me, like the video showed, like, the sample you showed me was really cool. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. And
so whoever's not watching, you should watch these things and subscribe. So yeah, subscribe.
Like the press videos, right? I've seen one other person do it in but in a better point of view where it's behind his hands. Because if you're looking at it crossways, it's not, I don't know. For me, I don't like that. Because you're looking at it from the point of view of a player, and you shouldn't. You should always be on the dealer side so that you know that your outside hand is this hand and you're following along. So, but that's me, right? So that's why. And the other thing is, I may sound conceited, whereas Casino Dealer Jay, but the only reason why I put Casino Dealer Jay was so that you knew that my name was Jay and I was a casino dealer. It wasn't about, hey, my name is Casino Dealer Jay or whatever. But now it's like, I don't need for you to see my face in the video. I just want to show you like my hands and where your chips should be, right?
I think what I really like, I mean, it's kind of like, it's first person perspective, right?
Yeah.
Which is how it should be. It's like kind of, I mean, like I'm sure you could do this. Like these videos should be all first person perspective. Like, like same as like any kind of thing, any of the games, right? Like, how do I see this? As if I'm looking at this, how do I do this? How do I move my hands? How do I, or same, it could be blackjack too. I mean, okay, I deal up to this, whatever, but it should be from the perspective of, or like, remember like there was, like all those video games, going back to video games where the first person perspective, right? It's like, this is how you do it. It's like, this is like supposedly like, how you would do it in real life, right? To do it like from the other side or down, you're like, well, I don't know. I didn't follow that. You know what I mean? So it should be like, I think anyway, any of these training videos that would be more of value to me if I was doing it, I would find value if I'm like, okay, then all right, this is how I bring it out and do this, that, that.
Yeah. Yeah. And for sure. I totally want to just have videos in that kind of point of view. So I'm working on it, but that's what I feel is lacking in content, and that nobody's really kind of done that yet. I see videos, and if you're teaching like center action, that's fine, and because a lot of the times it's correct, because you can't really look at the opposite end of the table, like from the box person's point of view, and try to figure it out. So like that is the only time I see it in the correct on the correct side. So yeah, I don't know why it bothers me so much.
But I'm sure as well. I mean, like, I don't check poker stuff because I never dealt it, and I never was I never really played it, to be honest. But I would have thought the same thing for that too, right? I mean, as a how are you gonna deal it better? I mean, I think that would be the same thing too, right? You'd have to have it as a first person perspective.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how much, like, because the cards still go in the same, they still go in the same order, like they're going clockwise. So I don't see it. I guess it's from like the pitch point of view. If you're looking at the hands, then yeah, for sure. But we're gonna hopefully we'll have this guy on. But Mark, he did the true poker dealer. I had him on for like an on break segment, and that was it. But the reason why I didn't continue with that was because in the one video I had with him, like my glasses were like crooked, so it's kind of embarrassing. And that's the honest truth. If you watch
like,
it's like,
yeah, you had them on like upside down. We're like, this looks kind of weird. There's something wrong with it, Jay. What's going on?
It's
Actually,
not even him. Yeah.
This looks like I'm swimming. Like I've got goggles on.
Which superhero is that? Yeah. That's funny. What else was I going to say? Oh, we mentioned Sickbo for like a minute or a second. I heard that there's a casino in Quebec that actually has Sickbo with real dice. So I'm looking into that because I really want to know if that's true. Does someone throw 3 dice like they would craps? Can you imagine that? I've never heard of that. It sounds exciting. No. I'll say that. Can you imagine like setting 3 dice up and just like
like I bet you, I guarantee, I mean, I would bet you, well, I shouldn't be betting stupid shit. I'm too old to bet stupid shit, but there you go. I bet you the stick has a circle on the end and they just grab them and go, eh.
No, I disagree.
You disagree?
You know why? Because I thought I tried ordering one just for the sake of having them try it at Argyle, and they were out of stock everywhere, and I couldn't find one. And like the whole
stick
world,
with a circle on the end.
Yeah, I
saw one in the Caribbean. I can't remember, like, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it was on regular craps, and I was like, "You guys are awful." And they had like this thin wire that went down the middle of the table, so you couldn't slide them.
Oh yeah,
and they would, grab it, and they would just. I mean, the dice literally would tumble in this thing, and they didn't care. Like, whatever.
Oh no way!
I'm like, you guys are terrible dealers. But yeah, it was so strange seeing that, like the hoop at the end, like the circle at the end of the craft scene.
Well, I thought there'd be some sort of art to it, like. I thought if we could bring that in, then there'd be something like cool that people could do with it, and I don't know. I thought it would just look a lot different, but it's too bad. I really wanted it.
In my opinion, they're probably like super, like they should have like super old dice, so you could literally slide them the length of the table, or like just go, and they would shoot down and slide. They wouldn't tumble and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you showed us that too back in the day. Actually, like sliding dice. I don't think we were doing that until you got there, which was bad. But
we used to do it all the time, like slide them, and then you end up being like, okay. And after a while, you end up being like, I don't know how many people used to do it, but I mean, we used to do it all the time, right? Because the place I work with was super cheap, right? And they'd be like, oh yeah, we'll change the dice once a week, and we had 2 sets of dice on the table, and they would become so worn, you could slide them like the whole length of the table, and literally we could go from like where the boxing, the plunger was in the middle, we could slide them there, and we got to a point where we could slide them through chips. It was crazy. We're like, I'm gonna go through there, and if they blew up the stack, we're like, I don't care. They don't tip anyway. We can't tip them. Whatever. Sorry, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember us doing that only when the felt was replaced, because whatever felt they had was just garbage after, so it wasn't really good after.
But I think, to be honest, though, it adds to the fluidity of dealing. I love the whole thing where on stick, where you're using both. That another thing drives me crazy when people just use one hand, like on stick. Like, oh yeah, like okay. It's like, oh man, use both hands, man. This just be ambidextrous. And then, but there was some fluidity to like moving, like getting the dice, switching hands, and then sliding them off. It was, I don't know. To me, I liked it. It was like kind of like Tai Chi kind of stuff.
So if you're dealing to one, no, okay, I never wanted to get into this, but I'm gonna have to. This one question: if you're dealing to one guy, and I'm not saying there's the right answer, but when you're passing the dice to him, do you go through the layout or do you go around the outside? Is there like a book rule to that? One player.
Where's the one player standing now?
Straight out.
So he's on the back? So,
yeah.
If there's only one player, I mean, really, like the dice would land and you just bring them in. I would still switch hands, and it would be like, and then
passing out, can the dice go through like the com and the place bets and
to be honest, like I think like I don't know, I may be wrong, but when I used to deal it, like you try to be out of the way of the dealer, right? So that's the reason why, like you go off from the outside, bring it up to the thing, and like you try and be out of the way. But if there's nothing to be in the way of, you just want to get him the dice as fast as possible, right? So man, he's got $5 on the pass line. Are you going to piss around going like, okay, I'm going to go around especially if you're a trainee, like kind of go around the outside, bring him to and then I'm going to bring him into the middle, and then I go switch hands, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. You're like, no, dude, man, just give him he's got $5. All he wants to do is go home because his wife's like, come on, you said we'd leave 13 minutes ago.
Yeah. Okay. The only reason why is because that there's going to be people out there that are taking it so literal where it's like, no, it has to go around the outside every single time. So, yeah. I think we should
Time
really
is money.
I think we should really go through the book. And I can tell you, it's like, do you agree with this rule that chips must be a minimum of 25 high? It's like, there's all these rules that are like, people make up, and it's just like, how? Like, where did this come from? And why?
That reminds me, like a lot of the things that be like, somebody made it up years ago or decades ago, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. And then you keep it, and you're like, well, why do we still do that? I'm like, oh, we've always done that. Well, what do you mean? Like throwing chips. I mean like throwing them at the player, but I mean, I used to get them and I'd throw them, I'd catch them in the cum and pass them out. It's okay. I mean, I was doing it procedural wise. I mean, like all chips went through the cum, but there wasn't going like, you know what I mean? Like, I guarantee you, I tell you what, at no point in the entire time I ever dealt did anybody from surveillance go, what did Jon just do there?
Yeah.
I think, you know what I mean? Like, can you tell Jon to stop doing that? Like, well, what do you mean? Why? Tell me what I paid out, and then I'll stop it. So I think there's some rules that we do that we like, maybe that's just nonsense, but we did it like a ton of years ago,
Yeah. I think what I see now is a lot of really dumb arguments amongst people on procedure, and then they give reasons why, and they always find reasons against doing something, and it's so weird. And I think that's just how it's got to. Yeah.
I'm reading this. I've never read a poker book in my entire life, but I read this book. I'm starting with this book. What's the name of that poker player? Annie
Duke.
Annie Duke, yeah. And it's on about making decisions like a bet or something. I think what it's called. And basically and it's actually really clever, right? I mean, she's talking about, you should make decisions like you're betting, how poker players make a bet. You have a belief and you have a decision, and then there's an outcome, whether good or bad. And then you have this, basically that's what it is. And then as you learn, you go, okay, well, the challenge is though, people make their kind of have this predisposed belief, and then they're like, oh, well, they find something that will back up their belief. Do you know what I mean? So like you're saying, like, oh, we should do this. So then rather than go, oh, well, I have this new information which will change my opinion, they go, oh, I need to find this other information which will back up my belief and show that I'm right, not that I'm possibly wrong. Right? Mm-hmm. So actually it's a really interesting book. And to be honest, I never thought I'd read a book by a poker player, but it's not about poker. It's about how you make this.
How you made millions or something like that?
No, it's called I'm trying to think of the name. I only bought it like a week ago, and I've already forgotten it. But it's like make a decision like a bet. But it's basically you're saying like this is do it like this, that it's never right or wrong. There's luck involved in all these different decisions. But I mean and there's a lot of psychology in this stuff, and she's really really smart. Which honestly I'm surprised. I didn't realize how smart she was. Right?
Oh yeah,
she's accessible. I didn't realize like holy smoke, man, this lady's super smart. But like I'm saying, but one of the things it does is a lot of people tend to kind of like have a belief, and then they find information to back up that belief, not trying to accept new information that may say, well, I was wrong. So I think that's a lot of things about craps too, or casinos, right? Like, well, I've been doing this since 1972. Well, that's okay. Well, he was wrong then. Do you know what I mean? Things have changed, Things evolved. I mean, like things are faster, so people want to gamble a little bit different, right? So sometimes I think we need to kind of like be open to different ideas and change our opinion. Right?
I agree with that. And it's funny because we have this hybrid game, and if it takes over and this is the only version of craps, there's still going to be an argument about it. It's like, even to like the stick person, it's like, yeah, which one is your outside hand? Which way is this, which way are the dice going? And they'll build up rules, and that's just, I guess that's part of the evolution, because
well, you think before craps came into in Edmonton, where they had the wheel, but they had the stick. I'm pretty sure they're like, oh, you got to use your outside hand. Why? I went up the first time I saw it. I was like, yo, you have a stick. I was like, why? Oh, well, and they were like, oh, well, it's craps table. I was like, but you have no dice. What are you going to do there? I was like, oh, they point to people who won. I was like, you may as well have a point. You may as well have a foam finger. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this guy won, and this guy won, and this guy won. Like, at least have some fun with it. I mean, right now you're this unemployed piece of wood.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before. I mean, like them not understanding pace. I think we don't give them enough credit. I think they, even if they had more time together, because it's a really experienced group. I think if they had more time together with dice, I think they'd probably be pretty exceptional as a team. From the group of guys that were there, and I'm not saying like my brother because he's my brother, but there were some really good dealers back then. And they were the pioneers, like, before you and Darren kind of came over here and changed the game. But there was a style, and it was kind of set. It was just the fact that there was like this dumb wheel in the end where it's like, okay, we're gonna kill the pace here and go, and then you have to wait for it, and there's nothing you can do. So
I thought it was cool and interesting, to be honest, when I saw it with the wheel and stuff like that, and the dealers were cool and stuff like that. It was just like, it's hard. I mean, like, obviously there were some dealers who've been dealing for quite a long time, this, form of craps, I guess. But the challenge is, it was like they knew like 3/4 of craps. Do you know what I mean? Like they didn't know how to pace a game, how to move the dice, and that one kind of like, and the tempo of this of the whole thing, right? You can, like, I don't even know. Did they say that? I can't remember if they even said calls. I can't remember. It was like 1998 when I saw this, so it was a while ago, right? I saw the one time in K-Days. So I was like, I
don't know. Because wait, 1998? Sorry, 98, when you got there was still no dice? Oh, yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, I came to Edmonton in 1998. I'd heard a ton about K-Days, right? So from all the Canadians and from Rhonda too, about, oh my God, this is so cool. And I was like, man, we got to go. So we went there, and I think 1998 was the first year that the casino stayed open. So K-Days was super small, and they still had, they had the craps table with a wheel and a stick, and I was like, oh, okay, this is weird and different, but okay, let's play. And I was like, not sure I want to play this anymore. It wasn't as much fun. But and then in September 99, I came to Canada, and I think, like, was it October, somewhere around about there, craps became legal in Canada, and I joined the palace in January of 2000. But in 1998, for sure, it wasn't. That was, like I said, that was the year that K-Days, because I walked in, I was expecting this monster casino, and I walked in, I was like, oh, this wasn't what I expected. And they're like, oh yeah, the other casinos are still open. I was like, shoot. I wanted to see this massive. Yeah, so I missed it. So
it was massive. I remember like 18 and going in for the first time. It was like, what the hell is going on here? It was insane. Like it was like a super casino. It just felt like it, because it was the whole like exhibit A or whatever it is of the Agricom at the time. It was crazy. I've never seen
I wish I'd seen that. It would have been really cool. But I came, the year I came, I was like a year too late, I guess.
But I think that's the reason why, like, there's some kind of prominence in Alberta, and there's a lot of skilled dealers. And remember, like, the whole bulk of those tables were like blackjack and roulette at the time, baccarat too, and just seeing those games and how those dealers were kind of, how they were back then. Yeah, they were fast, super fast. Now it's not even close to the same. Well, it's different, the game itself, right? So
do you know what I think as well, though, is it was competitive, because you had people from other casinos too, and they'd be like, oh, these, you know what I mean? Like, they'd all come in, and he'd be like, oh, there's blah, blah, blah from ABS and I Work in Palace or whatever it was. And they're like, oh my God, that guy's so good. I want to watch how he does it, right? So I think it was awesome. And I just wish I'd seen it, right? Because I think it kind of stimulated competition and a very competitive atmosphere. And it created better dealers, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, oh, I want to, Dougie Doo was like amazing chipper. I want to be like him, or I want to be like this person. And every year these new people will come in and they see these great dealers. Whereas sometimes, like if they didn't work with you, you may never see them, right? So I think it was a tremendous opportunity for casino dealers at that time to see like literally the best dealers in Edmonton, right? Or even outside of Edmonton. Because remember we talked to Trevor and he said, yeah, he'd come up from Lethbridge and deal, right?
Yeah.
So you were seeing some of the best dealers in literally in Alberta come up for K days and hang out and have a laugh, right? And deal and party and.
Okay, yeah, I'll say half because remember, like the other half are like first time dealers, and it's the first time they're dealing blackjack. And some of the stuff that you see, you're like, are you kidding? And then like some people dealing roulette for the first time, dealing baccarat for the first time. So yeah, there's. I'll have to say,
admittedly, but I mean, like you would get that anyway. But I mean, like you're gonna get the guy who's like, he's got the shoe on the wrong side of the table again. Well, we keep telling him it's not on the right side. Why is he dealing blackjack with his shoe on the right hand side? I don't care if he's left-handed.
No, I like. Oh my God, yeah. I'll say I never wanted to. Now I would have done a year or two of like K days if I was given the opportunity, but I would rather just go there and play and enjoy it and watch everybody. Like when I was 18, I watched my brother deal for the first time, right? Like in real life, and it was like really cool. And it would have been cool to like deal with him on the table. 2000, like I think there was a year, like it was the last year basically, where they were together, and I think that they did have dice that year because it was legal. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ask them because I'm sure there was one year where they had dice.
I think to be honest, I was like, maybe I should deal K days one day. Like 1 year, I would just go there for like, I'll deal this, whatever. Just unless it's terrible, I'll be like, but it'd be kind of fun if you're like, you and like it'd be like a a reunion. It's like a seniors tour in golf.
I think so. Oh, that reminds me. I have to show that card.
Hang on a second. I got to put this lights on because I'm sitting in the dark. Hang on.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Okay, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for being on. Look, we're over like an hour, but I still want to talk. I remember the 1 year where they started to do Casino Track, and then they ended up giving you your temporary card, and it was just this white card. It had HLC on it, and it had your like P number, and then had this makeshift barcode on the back. It's just this white card, and that was like the start of Casino Track. So I took it to K days, and because I'm like 19, I think I'm 19 or 20. I didn't have any money, so I go in the admission, and they're just like, "Well, yeah, it's like $14 or whatever." I'm like, "Well, no, I have my card, and I wasn't working at K days, right?" So they took my like Casino Track card, and then they scanned it in the back, and then it turned green. So then like I went there like 9 days just going in with like free admission because of our Casino Track card. I was like, okay, cool. I'll have to show that. Oh my God, it's so funny. Hello, Nicole. I invited Nicole on, but she was pretty tired, and now she's awake. So, All-Star Casino Night. That would be K days. Would you imagine if that ever happened again? Having like K days with table games? That'd be crazy. It's not gonna happen, but yeah.
Oh, they don't have it anymore? I've been for a while. My kids, it's like they're all down. They're like,
slot machines? I don't even think they had slot machines. The last version I remember, and I guess it's been a few years because of the pandemic and everything, but I don't even think they had a casino the last 2 seasons or 2 years prior to COVID. But even the last version I remember, it had just slot machines, and then you saw all the parlor games. So like the one where you throw the balls in the net and it's like over under 7. They had 2 of those on the entranceway going in. So it's like, okay.
Oh, they're like the stupid carny games.
Oh yeah, and like the wheel with the horses, yeah, the one with the horses where you put money and then I don't know, and then the one with like the anchors and the hearts. And
like the suits and stuff like that. And we spin those things. Like, oh, I'm gonna get ripped off real fast right now.
How much time do you have? Do you have to go right away?
Well, I suppose going downstairs, I have to do something, but I'm sure we have 5 minutes or so.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay. Have you ever gone to like an award ceremony at work, at the casino? Any of your casinos? Have you ever won anything like Employee of the Month?
In casinos? No.
No, me neither.
The way I acted, never. Do you know what? I did win though. Thinking back, I did win a door prize for the Palace Casino golf tournament that I didn't go to, and Ellen, God rest her soul, she said, "Hey John, you won something at the golf tournament." I said I wasn't there. She said, "Doesn't matter, you won it anyway." And it was like a wooden golf cart. That was the only thing. And she's like, I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then I took it home. I think I have it in the basement. I still have it in the basement. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's nice, thank you. What am I going to do with this?" But because she gave it to me, I felt obliged to keep it. And I was like, "I won't throw it." I sounded kind of rude. That was the only thing I won.
Oh my god! But hey, I think that's more than me actually. I've been to the award shows because of the, being a manager and stuff. So then you have to go and see like Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year, which was really cool. Anyways, they had this one awards show for I want to say it's like Your Welcome Awards. I don't know what it was, but anyways, all of us managers ended up going, and we sat at this table, and then someone from one of our casinos won, and which is really cool. So she won the award, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome, congratulations, blah blah blah. So then it's really cool that she got nominated. It's really cool that she won the award. But the coolest thing was that the food was free, and we got to kind of go around and stuff and take pictures. Anyways, they had all of these like super ass large numbers. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like different sections of the whole kind of room and stuff. So then at the time we were getting our ass kicked from like this player, and he was beating us in craps, and we didn't know what was going on. So everyone was like freaking out because, this guy was always winning. He had this bankroll to support him. And then we had meetings and stuff like that. It really sucked. So I took a picture like beside the 7 with like my hands together. And I was like, oh my God. So it was like a funny picture or whatever. But I ended up actually taking the sign home. So this was the sign. So I took it, and then I brought it to work, and they're like, you need to kind of tape this underneath the dice table. So then so I have the 7, and they're wondering where it is. So it's in my house.
That was underneath the craps table?
This was one day, and it didn't help. So then I took it. Anyways.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so last thing before, is there anything you wanted to talk about before we kind of?
No. Sorry. I mean, sorry I wasn't on early. It's just a lot of other stuff we had to run around.
That's okay.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ad lib for like half an hour. But even that, I mean, like think of it. Like you ad lib for 30 minutes, and we've been talking about pretty much nonsense for the last like hour and 15 minutes.
I tried to make it craps, right? So like it was craps related. So, but I mean the channel updates and everything, and talking about my dog, whatever. That's cool. I love my dog. Miss you. The last thing that I wanted to bring up is so dumb. We're having a Pagoda Tiles league. So there's going to be 4 teams, and they're named based off of the 4 player bank deliveries. So Cupsay Crusaders, for example, Long Tile Legacy. So that's in the works. And guess what? The blue tiles are going to make a return onto the channel. So blue tiles and white Jong. Yes, this will signify league games. So hopefully you guys will enjoy.
So who's in the league, the teams?
Oh, you're in there. So there's going to be, much like the NHL draft, we're going to have like, who picks first, second, third, fourth, and the champions will be the captains, and then they can start choosing their teams. The cool thing about this is we're going to have it fluid. So if we have like 3 new players come in, we're going to assign them to a team, and then they represent a team. So then there's like a record and everything, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I hope. But we have a commissioner. It's not me, because I'm going to be play-by-play announcer. I think that's what the plan is. But I'll spill the beans. But John, you know this person. Our commissioner will be this guy right here.
It's going to be Manny.
It's going to be Manny. So yeah, Arden
Commissioner Manny.
Yeah, Arden has agreed to be the commissioner of the League of Pagoda Tiles League. I don't know what we called it. I remember we talked about it once. It's got to be really convoluted, the name. However, like, I'm working on getting someone to create the logos of each team so that it's kind of, I don't know. It is the dumbest thing, but it's going to be the funnest thing. So we have that. We have craps. And then after craps, once we get craps underway, we're going to do poker, which is going to be a little bit of fun too. But craps, the way that I envision it is probably with a felt like that, 1-on-1. So you're going to be on one side, and your opponent will be on the other side, and you guys will play to see who's the better player. And yeah,
Interesting.
So hopefully you like that, and hopefully everybody
That
that's
sounds
watching.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah, hopefully this is the whole plan of it. This is kind of the evolution of the channel. I mean, we started talking a little bit about the podcast itself, which we didn't really kind of get in depth with it, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of change for the 3rd season, because since we're on this is episode 18, but it's already the 21st. I think we have 5 episodes left, and then the season is done. Then we can kind of start talking about what we're going to do for the 3rd season. So. Yeah. Any input?
No, that's awesome. That'll be fun. I can't wait to see
the league. Oh no.
Yeah, the league and Manny.
Well, yeah, because Arden is going to be the Dana White. Is it Dana White? I'm thinking like Dana White, Dana Carvey, Dana White, right? UFC. Yeah, that is who Arden is going to be. So yeah, and he's going to have press conferences, so it's going to be
I'm hoping he has a big mic. I'm hoping he stands around like this. Hello, this is from Marvelous Manny at the Pagoda Tiles.
We're gonna have reporters too ask him questions. So it's so ridiculous, but I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's just to give you guys a laugh. Everybody involved. I mean, that's the whole point of it. You can learn Pagoda Tiles along the way, but it's really just to kind of do something fun and funny for everyone. So yeah. All right.
That'll be cool. Yeah, that sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, Nicole likes it. Sponsors, yeah. Maybe
we should. Yeah, we go. We should get sponsored shirts.
I think we'll get to that point. I don't know why I'm so excited about this. It's just ridiculous.
I'll come on with, I'm sponsored by Brava Beer. I'm just wearing the box. They're not giving me any money or any beer or anything at all. I'm just wearing the box. It's kind of hot.
Okay. This is gonna go places. I promise you this, because I have too many ideas, kind of branching off from it. Kind of like the Loki series where you're branching off of the timeline. You should be doing one thing, but you're doing like whatever.
You're just ruining it. You ruin it. Come
Sorry.
on, Jay. You just ruined it. Yeah.
Okay. He doesn't die.
No. Did you just ruin it, or did you not? I mean, come on.
All right, John, any final shout-outs?
No, well, as always, it's been great to chat with you, Jay. I mean, it's so much fun, and we talk for an hour and 15 minutes, and you're like, oh my god, that was really fast. So no, it's really good, and I'm looking forward to the next time. And whoever's watching it, sign up for this the podcast. Podcast is cool, and all the rest of the platforms that this is on. So if you want to hear more of us, support us.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for the support so far. Oh my God, we're like over 50 episodes of this. This is crazy. 50 live streams, John. That's insane. I've never heard of. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
just to say we should just start like planting things in it, like this is the sheep that's from Wales that's been in it. You know, I mean, how many episodes has the sheep been in? Quite a few, to be honest.
I was really thinking about that. It's like, can you name all of John's T-shirts and then just have that as like a really big prize at the end, right? It's kind of like for our loyal.
And don't say it's sad. They're all sad. That's okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching this episode, and we hope to see you next week.
Okay, see you guys. Thanks again. It's always been fun.
Take care.
Okay, Jay, I'll message.